If you want to understand one of the biggest problems right now, I need you to pay attention to two numbers. And those two numbers, they don't want you talking about. And guys, real quick before we get into it, please hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with everyone because this is information every single American needs to know, which means they're not going to push it out. So back to the numbers. The first number I want you to think about is 348. The second is 391. Now, 348, that's the number of days that we've made it through the year so far out of 365. 391, that's the number of mass shootings that have taken place in America so far this year. And it's the end of the year, so we're going to hear a lot of stories about how mass shootings are down this year, and they are. Statistically, they are. I'm not negating that. But we need to talk about the parameters that an act of violence must fit to even be considered a mass shooting. And those parameters are 4 victims have to be either injured or unalived for it to count, and that is excluding the shooter. So a lot of high profile and completely preventable violence that we've seen this year, examples like Charlie Kirk, Evergreen High School in Colorado, 2 National Guard members that were deployed in DC, those may have gotten national attention, but they do not count towards that number. So once I saw these numbers, I wanted to break it down further and compare us to other countries. And tragically, as an example, we know that Australia has recently had a mass shooting. So I looked up how many they had had this year. 2. 2 too many, still less than 391. The entire UK, 3. Again, 3 too many, still less than 391. Canada, our neighbors to the north, 1 all year. And yes, it is 1 too many, but it is still 390 less than the US. I mean, the US accounts for 31% of global public mass shootings, despite making up less than 5% of the global population. When you break that number down more and only consider developed countries, that number skyrockets to 70%. So I won't say all, but most of us can agree that those numbers need to reduce both dramatically and rapidly. So let's talk about what our lawmakers have done this year to try to do such. In 2025, 89 new significant gun safety laws were enacted across 33 states in America. And if that number sounds like a lot to you, wait till you hear this. Over 1,000 anti-trans bills were introduced, and over 600 anti-LGBTQIA plus bills were introduced. The total number of trans people estimated in America across all ages, 2.8 million. Total firearms owned, 393 to 500 million. That accounts for 40 to 46% of the total amount of civilian-owned firearms in the world. They're right here. So we'll break those numbers down even more so you get the whole picture. That means with those numbers, for every 2 to 5 million firearms owned, I'm not talking about firearm owners, firearms owned, for every 2 to 5 million, there is 1 significant gun regulation bill introduced, not even passed. However, for every 2,760 trans Americans, there is at least 1 anti-trans bill introduced. Those are the numbers for 2025. Those are the numbers they don't want us talking about. So tell me again how we don't have a fucking firearm problem in America. Hit like and subscribe because we say what legacy media doesn't have the balls to.